I think it's pretty much official right now, folks. The Giants are quickly turning into the Jets. Let's talk about it. Welcome aboard, everybody, here to the Sports Talk Nation. Michael Cohen here with you. A lot to discuss. Week 8, man, this was the wildest week ever. Week 18 of the 2021 season is in the books. It was one of the most bizarre weeks we have seen in a very, very long time. I think the NFL is pretty happy with itself, having extended the season now with the extra week, and it got exactly what it was hoping for. It got a lot of drama, and that all led up to the coup de grace, if you will, of the evening with the LA Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders. But one thing that happens here, of course, at this time of the year, as we all know, is we have a lot of coach firings, general manager firings, and moves. The one team in particular here in this area, in the tri-state area, of course, is the New York Giants. And the move that they did not really make at all with regards to Joe Judge. And you see all the complaints from Giant fans online, the sense that this is an organization in total decay, in total disarray. The fans have not been happy with the way this franchise has been moving for some time now, especially, certainly under the leadership of ownership, but certainly under the leadership of David Gettleman, who has since, quote-unquote, retired. But even head coach Joe Judge, who, after 2 years, this team has gone 10-23 with him as the head coach. A head coach that pinned a lot of blame on his offensive coordinator, Jason Garrett, fired him in the middle of the season. Then this offense went into a total tailspin. Granted, there were injuries as well, especially to quarterback Daniel Jones. But the offense, again, goes into a tailspin. Only scored 56 points in the last, 5-6 games of the season. 6-game losing streak. And then you have that bizarre press conference a couple weeks ago against the Bears, where Judge declares that this isn't a clown show, when in fact it is a clown show right now for the New York Giants. They right now could be very easily, at this point, as we end the season, maybe the worst team in football right now. That may be where the Giants are. May not be the Lions or the Jaguars, even though they're ahead in the in draft position. It is very likely the New York Giants, as this was a franchise that was once one of the most prideful franchises in professional football, and they have gone completely downhill. And there's a lot of speculation now that maybe Joe Judge isn't going anywhere, which is hard to believe when you think about how poorly this team has played and how poorly they have played under his leadership for the last couple of years. Now, here's the problem that the Giants are running into. The Giants front office probably feels at this point that, do we really want to make this kind of move again for the third time after just 2 years with a head coach in place? Ben McAdoo only coached 2 years with this team, got fired. Pat Shurmur, 2 years and out, fired. Now Joe Judge, 2 years in. Do the Giants really want to have to fire a coach again after 2 years? You still have contracts that are expiring with those other guys, especially Shurmur, and you still have, of course, another 3 years left on Joe Judge's contract. The Giants probably don't want to put themselves in a situation where they have to now pay not only Judge for the remainder of his contract. I think Shurmur has another year left on his deal, and then the next head coach on top of that. So there's that problem as well that the Giants face from that standpoint. So they probably feel that they need to have some sort of continuity, but the continuity is where? This is a team that right now doesn't have any real culture right now and doesn't have a direction at this point. Now you have Gettleman retire. He exits stage left, and he had a very mediocre tenure here. Drafting Saquon Barkley with the second overall pick back in 2018, turned out to be a bad move, especially in a quarterback-heavy draft. Drafting of Daniel Jones, who in my mind has been somewhat really mediocre since being the Giants quarterback here. Sometimes can't stay healthy. When he does play, has moments of brilliance, also has moments where you just shake your head wondering what is his decision-making process going on there with Daniel Jones. Yeah, the free agent signings, Kenny Golladay this year, not catching any touchdowns. Kadarius Toney, who Gettleman drafted, no touchdowns this year. So there are a lot of things that were not good in personnel with Gettleman. On top of that, you have the head coaching misfires that he had with both Shurmur and Joe Judge. But how can the Giants sell their fans on letting Gettleman walk out the door, and then you're going to bring in another general manager and ask him to possibly work with Joe Judge? Now, things could change. Maybe the Giants will end up firing Joe Judge by maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. Who knows? He may have to sit down with ownership. Maybe the Giants feel in a couple of days They have to move on after talking with Joe Judge. But right now, it looks like they're in a situation where they're going to try to put a square peg into a round hole, and that usually does not work out. Look what happened with the Jets way back in 2013 with Rex Ryan and John Idzik. It did not work out. It's very hard to link up a head coach from a previous regime that has been disposed of and put him with a GM who wants to get started on his own plan, and he wants his own head coach, and that's the problem here. And another part of the story is this. This is from SNY. The Judge wants to have a hand in the GM search, according to a source, which might be an even tougher sell for Giants owners. So right now he is indeed meeting with ownership as we speak. Right now, the assumption is he's still going to be the coach, but there's always a chance that he, again, could be fired. Could be fired by the end of the night tonight. Could be fired by Tuesday morning, Wednesday night. A lot of things could still change here with regards to this Giants search. But the fact is, this is a team that needs change. Will the Giants go outside the organization for a new GM? I think they have to. They need fresh blood in there. They need a fresh vision of how to put this team on track to compete not only in the NFC East, but throughout the NFC and the NFL. A lot of rumors that they may go in-house. Now, the Giants, of course, have always been a team that, and especially lately, have always been one that's focused on relationships in-house. For example, going from Ernie Accorsi to Jerry Reese, Reese was in-house. They brought back David Gettleman, who was a guy, spent a lot of time with the Panthers, but had spent time with the Giants organization prior to going to Carolina as their general manager. They brought him back to be the GM here. Obviously, that didn't work out. Now they're talking about maybe Kevin Abrams he's considered the leader in the clubhouse to a lot of people, depending on who you want to read and who you want to believe. And that, of course, would be polarizing because it's, again, another in-house move that would signal that there is no real change coming for the Giants. They need change. They need to shake things up if they're going to turn around that franchise back in the right direction again. The other coaching moves, of course, not surprising, with the Bears letting go of Matt Nagy, Vikings letting go of Mike Zimmer after 8 years there in Minnesota. A little bit of a surprise with Brian Flores getting the axe in Miami. And I know this has been a kind of a polarizing story today for a lot of people because the Dolphins played so well down the stretch of the year, winning 8 out of 9 games. But remember, they did start the year at 1-7. And Dolphins did not make the playoffs for 3 years under Flores' watch. And if you take a look at some of the things that have been posted by a lot of insiders. Jeff Darlington, one of the insiders on the NFL Network, saying that there were issues within the front office and that he was butting heads with a lot of people. So Flores had his issues there personality-wise down there in Miami. Clashes with the general manager, clashes with lots of changes on the coaching staff, issues over the quarterback situation with Tua Tagovailoa. So he ends up getting the axe as a result as the Dolphins missed the playoffs for the third straight year under his watch. Another Belichick disciple goes by the wayside. I know there are a lot of people that are upset saying that he's a great coach, that the Giants should hire him. I mean, you're going to go from a Belichick disciple and Joe Judge to a Belichick disciple and Brian Flores. I mean, maybe they should go in another direction other than the Belichick disciples. Let's just say that, as far as the Giants are concerned. I know some Jet fans brought up the idea that Brian Flores maybe is a defensive coordinator candidate for them. There's no indication that the Jets are going to let go of Jeff Ulbrich as their defensive coordinator. So if the Jets were interested in him, I would need to know, if for Flores as the defensive coordinator, I would need to know that Flores isn't going to be someone who's just going to be kind of, looking over the shoulder of Robert Saleh saying, maybe a slip up here, I could be the next head coach. So not too crazy about that. Yes, he's a good coach. Yes, he found a way to get that Dolphin team turned around, had 2 winning seasons down there, won 19 games the last 2 years. I think probably more likely to go back to New England, I would think. We'll see. Anyway, that's the situation with the coaching situation here in the NFL. The Giants in desperate need of a change in culture, and if you're a Giants fan, you can't be pleased with the results so far. You wanted change. You pleaded for change. You had fans with bags on their heads yesterday at MetLife Stadium. Fans with bags on their heads and the guy with a Pepsi bottle attached to his head. What is going on here with this Giants team? They want some change, obviously, and it looks like it's not going to happen anytime soon for Big Blue. Anyway, folks, follow us on social media at OpenMikeNJ on Twitter, Facebook.com/OpenMikeProgram. And remember to like and subscribe right here to the Sports Talk Nation.